Today we're talking about a man from Italy who has been impersonating his dead mother and claiming her spousal pension. The man has not been identified as yet. However, his mother has been identified as Graziella Deloglio. She's an 85-year-old woman who died in 2022. Since 2022, her son hasn't declared her death, and what he did instead was to wrap her body and keep her in the laundry room while he continued claiming her pension and also collecting money from the property that she owned as his income. The man is being described as an unemployed nurse, and no further details have been provided about him. His mother's death was found out only because her ID card had run out, and so what he did, he impersonated his mom by dressing up as her, doing his makeup like his mom, putting a wig on, lipstick, nail polish, and he went to the municipal office in order to renew her ID card. When he arrived there, the clerk was a bit suspicious. She described as the hands didn't fit those of an 85-year-old woman. Also, she described seeing some facial hair. Additionally, when he spoke, that there were some points where he was sounding more like a man rather than a female. And so once the meeting was finished on that day, the clerk reported their suspicions to the mayor as well as notified the police. What they did was schedule a follow-up appointment and asked the son to come back in. Again, he came back impersonating the mum with a wig, with what he was wearing, and also walking with a walking stick. But at that point, when he arrived for the second time at the office, he was then confronted by the police. And that's when he revealed that actually he was in fact impersonating his mother and that she'd passed away in 2022. The man gave consent for the police to conduct a search of his property. And when they did, they found the mother's body was in the laundry room, just wrapped in sheets. And they described it as her body being mummified. They suspect that she may have died of natural causes, but that's not confirmed, and her body was sent off to the pathologist for them to conduct an autopsy just to find out what that cause of death is. Graziella passed away in 2022, and this has only come to light in 2025. And the reason why it's come to light is because Graziella's ID card expired. And so then her son was impersonating her by going in to try and get ID renewed just so that he can continue to claim the pension. It's been 3 years since she passed away, and Graziella for all this time hasn't been accorded a funeral to be put to rest. There's not really much detail that's been shared about the son, whether he had any siblings, just in terms of family around Graziella, for them not to have realized for all this time that she'd passed away. Really sad if it was only the son that she had, because that's enabled him to go undetected. The other question is, even if the mother passed away 3 years ago, would he not have benefited? I'm not sure how it works with the pension, because that was from her husband who'd passed away, so she was claiming spousal pension. But I wonder whether there would have been a way that her son would have had some benefit of that pension, and also was collecting from her properties that she had. So again, that would have been another avenue for him in terms of him having access to his mother's funds rather than keeping her in the house. I mean, it's very strange in terms of why he did that. He's being described as an unemployed nurse, and also that this was his income. He was making something in the region of 60,000 euros a year from his mother's pension and the properties that she had, which again is really sad that he chose money over his mother and didn't put her to rest for all this time. In terms of Graziella's ID card expiring, that's definitely a good thing, because if that ID didn't expire and he didn't need to go to the office, who knows how long he could have carried this on for. At least now, after the autopsy is complete, Graziella can finally be put to rest, which is the least that she deserves, as she's being described as somebody who didn't struggle financially, so she would have had that funeral 3 years ago. It's come late for her, but at least it's been found out now and she can finally be put to rest. And with regards to her son, at the moment the investigation is ongoing. There is no information at present with regards to what court process will take place or when, as this is developing. So Graziella's death has only been found out in November 2025, and her son is in custody. The investigation is ongoing as the story develops, so any updates provided in terms of what the next steps look like for the son will come back on this platform and just update that. Finally, Graziella can get the rest that she deserves.